That was a first. I almost forgot to start streaming. Welcome back to ShredMentor Live. I'm your host, Jason Aaron Wood, and tonight I'm going to have you walk through the composition process with me, okay? So I'm going to be using a couple of very basic tools that anybody can access, okay? You just need a computer, okay? You will need a computer for part of it, okay? And I recommend you do it this way. You don't have to, but I'm going to be using a combination of MIDI, which you can access through any recording software, like if you have Pro Tools, or I use Cubase personally, but Reaper is a good one. Anything that has a MIDI sequencer in it, okay? And so the other thing I'm going to be using is good old blank tab, okay? And I've just recently updated one of the free downloads before, and you can get that. It's the blank tablature pack, or the blank diagrams pack. Let me see here. I'm actually going to go ahead and just paste that right into the, wait, you know what? I have a better link. Let me go through this chat. Sorry. Almost forgetting to stream tonight and just starting talking into a room where no one was hearing me was that really almost got me. Let's see, what is that URL? So shredmentor.lpages.co, I think, and it's blank diagrams pack. God, I hope that's the right one. It is. Man, I don't know how to remember a URL like that, but here we go. Let's go over here. You should get this in the chat right now. If you don't have it already, get it. In fact, if you do have it already, also get it, because I just updated it and added 5 pages of this blank tab, because I realized I'm surprised I didn't put that in the first place. I don't use tab a lot, okay, but what I'm going to be doing tonight, I'm going to be using tab not to write so much. Let's go over to the, oh, thank you, Matthew, and welcome. Yes, you see, you know the drill. I appreciate that. I just jumped in and assumed everybody could hear me, but I'm glad. Thank you for verifying. So what I'm going to be doing tonight, I'm actually going to be composing on another computer, okay? And the sound for that part isn't going to be great, but I'm doing it because I want you to be able to hear the accompaniment as I come up with it too. When I write, I often already kind of hear my melody within the context of a certain note, either in the scale or related to the scale. And you won't hear that if I have to play like classical guitar style. So I'm going to be using MIDI to actually compose the melody a little bit. I'm going to play my guitar, put it into MIDI, but I'm also going to write it on tab because I want to remember not what I played, but where I played it. This is one of the things that I've started to encounter a lot in the last 10, 15 years of my playing. Now, I've been playing for 30 years, but that doesn't mean it was all well spent. But one of the things that really has kind of come to the forefront, you know, it's actually the last 10 years, 10 to 12 years. And it's specifically ever since I started learning pieces that were not written for this instrument. So I really started to pick up learning pieces by Bach in particular, and bits and pieces of things from Vivaldi, even a few years before that. But around 2010, I really started to dig in, and where I play it on the fretboard has become so much more important. So the tab is really just so I don't forget where I was. But anyway, okay, so there's a couple of basic criteria here, and I'm hoping it'll show up okay on the camera. But before we start, one of the first things you really need to do is to choose a time signature and a key that you're going to be in. And that can be flexible, a key, you know, you can use all the related scales. So all the things that we've talked about in previous sessions here, where we talked about theory and phrasing and using modes and stuff like that, that's all going to come into play tonight, okay? But yeah, we need to have a couple of basic bits of criteria. So first, the time signature, and I've just kind of chosen 6/8, okay? I want to be in 6/8 because I am in a super Baroque mode right now. I'm just, you know, I've dove right back into my my classical phase, so I'm probably going to be doing lots of neoclassical and actual Baroque music probably for the next couple of months at least, which is this is just how the pattern goes for the last several years. That's usually how it goes. It lasts usually around 6 months. So I'm going also where my inspiration is, and that's what you should do too. When you go to write, grab a piece of inspiration, even if it feels a little bit like imitation at first. You can always change what you did to make it less like the other thing and more your own. Okay, so I need that first. Gotta have a time signature. The next thing, okay, of course, I've also chosen a scale. I'm going to be in C sharp minor because it happens to be my favorite key, and it corresponds to the Baroque era of D minor. So 4/15 tuning basically means that a piece played in D minor actually would be C sharp minor. So I'm going to be playing it as if it is in D minor because I'm actually tuned down a half step. This is, whenever I pull out this guitar, this 36 fret monster, it's because I'm going to be playing stuff for instruments that usually have more of a range. So I dedicated my 36 fret guitar to Baroque stuff about 2 years ago. Okay, so another thing I'm going to be doing, and this is the final one, this is where this session kind of came into my mind, the idea for this session, something called melodic contour. And people don't know about this, but it really has a name. It's called melodic contour, and it's simply the shape of the melody. Okay, so I was thinking about six note melodies, like 16th notes in 6/8, or just regular 8th notes in 6/8, whatever, 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay? The shape there, okay, as you see again here, we have basically like 6 notes. The first 2 go up, and then the other 2 descend from below that. That's just sort of the shape that I was thinking. It might be kind of nice to do some things that are a little less linear and fretboard-ish. I could just go, if I want 6s, I could just be like, you know, and that's, that's okay. It's fine to do that once in a while, but I wanted to get outside of that a little bit, so you're going to be coming along with me on my ride tonight, and again, I'm going to be using MIDI, which is my real secret weapon when I want to compose things, okay? As I was sitting here fiddling around on my guitar waiting, I couldn't help but come up with, well, frankly, quite a few ideas, but I have one that I just came up with that I think I'm going to actually stick with. But let me play a couple of the ideas that I originally had. So hopefully you'll be able to hear this okay. I'm making it as loud as possible and as close to the camera as possible, but you're going to hear this in piano. So here's the first one. Okay, that's... All right. So I'm kind of just trying to think of things that are basically 3 beats long, because what I want to do in 6/8, all right, by default, you can change this, but there's a built-in accenting in 6/8, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's the 8th notes. That's the actual. You can force that to be something else whenever you want, but if it's not spoken, if it's not indicated somewhere, that's how the accenting works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I agree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever the tempo is, but I want the listener to hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so. If that was my melody, I'm gonna probably work these initial melodies in there, but I might do it maybe like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1 and 2 and 3 and. I might do some variations with the notes or something like that to get all 6 beats. But measures are for structure. Okay, your rhythm is for structure. I have a feeling that if you have sat down to write before and didn't come away with something that felt like it was usable, there's a good chance that you didn't think enough about the implications of the time signature. If to you, like it does to me, if recording is what you really mean when you're going to write, you kind of have to pick a time signature anyway. Or you can just sit there and leave it at 4/4, which is what all recording software is going to default to. But when you pick a time signature, you're actually making a very strong decision, and that's actually the key to actually writing at that point. You're writing with rhythm, all right? And the first 2 pieces of criteria that came to mind when I thought of doing tonight's session, this topic, is rhythm and melodic contour, okay? Because just like I showed you, this is my little shape of my melody. Oops, there it is, right there. And I actually drew it out as a sequence. If there were 6 separate notes, the highest 2, 5, 6, would go upward, and then the other 4 would go in the opposite direction. And I just did that just to try something different, right? Right. So I'm not going to be writing anything on the tab just yet, but I wanted to just refer you back to that. Because I've chosen 6/8, I'm going to be dealing a lot with 6s, or things that will allow me to at least keep that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feeling going even in the background. So I'm going to play off of the 8th notes, I'm going to play off of the 16th notes. I might even turn some of the 16th notes into triplets, but we'll see what happens. All right. So anyway, I'm going to play you some of the different variations that came out of this, because some of them also have different rhythmic variations too. They're all based on things I'm doing to the original melody. So again, the original melody, I'm doing it as 16th notes right now. So this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? That's basically what my tempo is going to be. So, you know, I could be that could be it too. All right. The next version of it was, let's just omit the last, you know, the last note. All right. That's another one. The next one. So, no. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Right? And I'm just repeating it. I wouldn't actually do this in my composition, probably, or maybe, but all right, that's a fun one. It's still, but I'm tacking on an octave of the root note in between that. So, okay, and I think I had one more variation of that. I'm probably going to throw at least one of these in as we go here. Is that what it? Yeah. So now, these variations are things that I actually made in MIDI, so I don't always come up with my idea right here on the guitar. The original one I did, actually I came up with it while I was at the grocery store on the guitar in my head. It was very, you know, that is actually how to play it according to what I came up with, but it's just, I know my guitar well enough where I can walk around like that on the way to the grocery store, and yeah, I know what I meant to play. 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, 5. That's the scale degrees of what my idea was. And originally it was in G minor tonight, but screw G minor. I went that. So instead, all right, I'm just going to, again, I couldn't, hey, Vicky, welcome. I'm going to give you a shout out in a little bit too, because I want to make sure people check out your show. After I did those versions, I ended up doing something completely different and did this little figure. And I don't know, maybe I'll work that in somewhere else too. I didn't really even bother to worry about like how to play that. But as I was saying, as the show was about to start, I couldn't help but mess around. And I think I'm actually going to go with this particular idea. All right, that's it. Just a, all right. So I am actually going to use that just because I like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 4 and a 5 and 6 and okay. So that's one measure right there. This is why it's important to have MIDI, though. I like having MIDI because I get to listen to the idea back and change things as I go before I have to commit it to, you know, to paper. All right, so 12, 14, 15. I'll just put that there, and then 13, 15. Dun, 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 dun. Slide to 12, hammer back on, and then pick 15. There we go. And that's dun, 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 dun. So that would be 16th notes, except that little hammer on thing is actually 32nd notes. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So this will be the slow part. Right, one measure. Right. Now this is why I like to kind of just mess around on the guitar, because I always have a guitar on me while I'm doing this. So the next thing I'll do is give Vicky a shout out, by the way. Vicky has a radio show on Metal Devastation Radio on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and it's Lady Red's Bath of Blood. So you should check that out anytime you're free on a Saturday night, or, you know, just cancel your damn plans and just go check it out. But yeah, Friday nights 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, Saturday nights 8 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, Vicky. But yeah, she has kick-ass taste in music, and I think you'll really like her show. I have never heard a show that didn't have just loads and loads of stuff that I went on and kept listening to if I hadn't heard of it. So yeah, check that out. Lady Red's Path of Blood, Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hey Wayne, how you doing, man? Welcome. Horns up to you. All right, so far we've got one measure. All right, so there. So this is something I did originally. It was one of my mistakes, and I'm remembering that I kind of liked it. It's the same fingering, except instead of going up another string. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, I think you want to do that, mate? Maybe? Yeah, let's do that one. Commit to MIDI first, because I want to hear them back to back. All duplicate. This is also what's nice about MIDI is I can just take the original melody and, you know, move it around a little bit. And this is where the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 can come in really handy. If I keep the tempo on a slower pace, which to me this is a little slower, but it might be a little. So so it's got to be playable, and that's why I might not go with that. But so I need to. So. That right there, I think I'm going to, that's where I'm going to throw that in there. Okay. And that's all 30-second notes. See, 30-second notes are not so far out of reach if you keep your tempo slower. So. Nope. It needs to be 3 sets of 4, so. There. All right. So if it's not really clear to you what I'm doing here, I'm doing some math. I'm making sure that I fill specific quantities. So. Yeah, I'm going to change that. It's actually the same melody on the outside. And that way I can... So, yeah. Yeah, getting a little ahead of myself there. So, And the jack is cutting out just a little bit here too. Sorry about that. In a way, I could kind of do that to slow it back down to the other thing, because I'm not trying to create something that's just endless, mindless shred here. No. So I'm using a diminished seventh within the harmonic minor scale here. And now I'll go back to 16ths for just, instead of 4, I'll do 2. And now we have 3 measures. I want to come back into it from melodic minor. This is another decision I'm sort of making in the moment. I'll use a pedal point, right? Dun, 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 dun. No. Dun, dun, dun. I'll use a little bit of a dissonant kind of quality there. Yeah, so it's going to be a... Oh wait, 1 and 2 and 3 and... Yeah. So yeah, the accenting is very important. So if you are doing this with MIDI, it's important to learn about the velocities and how important that is, because if when you enter MIDI notes, they're all just probably at 100 or something like that. So louder on the accents, higher velocity. 1, 2. So there we go. So 1, 2, 3, 1. And now for this one, especially with the fast stuff, you really got to have those 1E and a... There we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There. And that will lead right back into the very first note, which is fun, but I'm not going to repeat it exactly the same way either, because that would be more of a riff than a lick or a solo. But you know what? It's fine, because it's going to be damn hard to play anyway. You know, that's why I'm composing it. I'm not going to master the damn thing tonight, but I should be able to play it somewhat, because it's based on things that I am playing piece by piece. The hard part is going to be really about piecing it together and connecting the parts. But let's do save, all, duplicate. So let's just hear how that all connects back into itself. There it is. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so as you see, I didn't really write that last part on the guitar, and now that is not as big of a problem anymore, I think. We'll see in this particular case. Sometimes it can be. All right, so I have my 2 versions here. I kind of had to decide exactly the way I'm going to pick this too, so the phrasing elements are still something you kind of have to work out as you go, and so that's sort of getting it ready for prime time with that. All right, so that's something that last part is the. Yeah. You can just do that from anything. So let's see. And so that's, if it seems like I'm just jumping in, like where the hell is this coming from? It's a 2-3-2-1 sequence. So you could do this with like a minor pentatonic, like start at the low note, hammer on, and pull back off, and then go to the higher note of the next lower string. So yeah, that's all that is here. So it seems like where the hell is this coming from? I am throwing in sequences as I go too to help me with the complex stuff. So yeah, now it's a very playable thing. I just have to kind of get used to anticipating when the changes are going to be. All right, so that's okay, so that's the top part. And then yeah. One and two and three and 1 and 2 and 3 and yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, tough, right? So yeah, this is not the thing I'm going to really work on right now, though. It's playable. I'm giving it a kind of a walkthrough, but I'm not really concerned with whether I nail this right now. And I haven't been doing too much with the tab because I still remember where I'm at, because it's still a little bit early on in this. All right, so I did mention in the description to this, if you found out about it from the email, that I'm also going to do some amount of harmonization. Not direct harmonies, I'm not really worried about that, but I'm going to be writing sort of the bass line, all right, the underlying chord, which is actually going to I'm going to try to make that a little bit more interesting than just a single note, but for the most part, I am going to kind of fill it in that way. So that's I'm going to go an octave lower and just I could also go into another chord, like and yeah, so kind of a that's actually what I'm hearing in my head. Let's see if it actually works. It's yeah. All right, so I think that's working. This is where I can kind of, like, instead of just a chord, I can actually, or a single note, I can kind of play off of the triads and sevenths of that note, especially with this particular one. I'll close this thing up here. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, fire away in the chat. I kind of want to walk you through what my process is like. I don't expect that this is everybody's, but I find that having all of the tools all kind of right. I have the guitar where the actual vocabulary is coming from. I have the MIDI where I can record it and play it back and listen to how it sounds all together, as well as try different ideas. I can kind of write the bass line. And notice I'm using a piano. That's also important. You can use anything you want. I like using piano because it has the widest range of all the instruments, and it has a pretty sharp attack, so you can hear some of that, you know, dun, 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 you know. Zoom in. Yeah, that's the tough part, isn't it? So this is where I'm not going to repeat the. All right, I'm going to do something similar, but this is where variations can come in, or I can go into a part B. I mean, I almost kind of feel like going into a part B. So since I have that option now, this is how I compose to. I know that I was just about to jump into another, the harmonization part. I'll get back to that in a second, but I do want to, yeah, I'm going to just delete everything from here on out at the end here. Just the repeat, just the repeating of what I did already, so don't worry. I'll just throw that, original. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that was. You can hear the ending of that melody going back into the root note. Okay. So let's go back. Let's finish up the harmonization of this, because it's sort of like where I'm writing the riff that would go along with this. And this is going to sound kick-ass as metal, by the way. Just a nice neoclassical, dark sounding. And you can get more, you know, interesting with it too. So you can be like. So I don't usually do a power chord on the second because it's a different. All right, and I could even actually just go drop D on, or drop C sharp in this case on that one. Then, all right, let me hear how that actually sounds against what I'm actually playing though. Yeah, that's actually great because it worked out. I was still following the 1, 2, 3, dun, dun, dun. But that's also where I'm going 1, 2, 3, and then. So I might do 1, 4, 5, 6 end because it's 4, 5, 6 and. All right. So I might actually do more. Let's see. No. I'm going to make this a full 7, so it's a 7 chord on the 5. Yeah. Alright, so let's see what that sounds like. Oops. Oh yeah, no, not oops. I just got confused. My parts are really close together on the piano roll, so it's. I was like, what the hell? Is that? So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1. I could even do something like that. I'm not going to bother putting that in there because that's the more stylistic stuff. But Dun, 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 that's a little bit weird, I think. Sounds fine by itself, but yeah, no, not gonna work. Nope, it's just sort of too damn busy. All right, so that's the thing to watch out for too. If you have a good melody, don't screw it up by putting too much else going on in there. It's better to leave one thing simple. And if you have a note that is actually ringing out in the main melody, that is where you have a chance to get busy in the other part. So that's where it's called counter melody. So the idea is to have two separate things going on here, but they should be not separate in the sense that they're not related to each other. The harmony should work out perfectly, but they should be able to stand on their own independently as a melody. All right, so that's a fun little thing you can do. If you need like one more note and you're already on the note, use the octave of that note. If you have another lower string or something like, you can make that note like the octave below too. That's a oh, I can't hit that note. Yeah. So this is where I'm going to switch over to being a little bit more active, right? Oops, nope. Now, I don't know if you catch what I'm doing here. I have a rhythmic theme, first of all. Dun, 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 dun. What I'm also doing is and the next, so each new measure starts on another note of the scale. So I'm doing a rising thing. Right? So there's an internal cohesion to the idea there too. Okay? I'm going to break up the 1 E and a 2 and 3 and. So that means we're at 30-second notes again. So nice to check and see this is playing, but I don't think I'll lose my idea. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and. So This is a third plus an extra octave here, so these are related here. It's kind of a one. I'm probably going to have that in the bass there. I'm just going to throw in a bass note real quick just so I can. Oh, not that one. I'm going back and forth a lot between 1 and 5 because that's sort of the style. That's the strongest thing you can do in harmonic minor and melodic minor is play off of the root note of the scale and then play off of the 5. Root note will have a minor chord, the 5 will have a major chord, and you can do some cool scale type things with it. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm doing here. So most of this is MIDI, it turns out. But anyway, here's the basic idea, and I'm going to get more active with the underlying, the bass melody now. One end to 2 and 3 end. That's. But I want to land back where I'm on the 4. No, I want to do a string skip, but no. Yeah. I think I'm going to try that. Instead of going down that. 20. One E and no. Yeah, no, not that note yet. And then back to 16th notes. That way I still have my the first note of each measure here. Now this is the thing, you don't want to keep a sequence going too many times, and the general idea is 3 times, and then on the 4th time you do something else. That's something that's been in my. I love that little section from the 4th of the scale. So it's like, you know, so. The 4th root, raised 7th. That happened a little late there, but here we go. in a way, I think that works, right? But I'm thinking of variations on that too. So, already kind of getting into my next part. I don't want to lose ideas. So it's almost like a new section coming out here. So, because I did a kind of an intentionally slow idea there. So, I think I want to do a call and response there. Yeah, fourth of the scale there. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there just as a maybe I'll use it kind of thing. All right. Now, this is where, as I said, I went through all that trouble to just create a thing that kind of followed this. Now, the idea here, I already have a sequence in mind that I want to do, and it's going to be more of a... And I might just do that. I gotta watch out that I'm not using the wrong sixth here. See, it's got to be harmonic minor. I could just go into a straight diminished seventh on part of that, because that is what this right. So I'm going to get rid of my root note because I kind of know what it's going to do now. 16th note. This is a sequence of thirds, by the way. Oops. And I could probably just repeat. Right? And then just repeat again. So now, I feel like that's really loud though, but you know it needs to be louder. It's just the original melody. Right? And now I can keep that sense of motion going by doing the same thing, modulating that concept. Actually, I'm going to do it as a sequence of threes on the way down. Yeah. I'm going to kind of revert back to natural minor on that one because I know I used actually I'm going to switch a little bit into this. So yeah, since I used that arpeggio idea, So that's one. Because I did that, I want to use the F, which is actually E major, but on my guitar it looks like F because I'm tuned down a half step. So anyway, in Baroque that would have been the F. But anyway. So actually, let's see what happens if I... Sorry, Jack's very annoying. So. Something like that. All of these might work a little bit, but I'm looking for a nice smooth way. Yeah, jump to an octave again, using the octave of the note you're already on, because I'm going to go to this, but that's also the new root note of the key, right? So hopefully. So let's get this whole section here. What's that note? And my upper melody and my lower melody are actually in each other's range a little bit, but it shouldn't matter too much when it comes down to actually writing this out. And again, I'll make the actual original melody louder. And then we're going to have, yeah, that's the melody really fast. All right, so all together, that last section, and then I'm going to play what I've got so far. Oh, you know what? I need to make that melody a little louder. Sorry. So it feels a little bit like, well, first of all, computer froze just a little bit, but it'll catch up soon. Anyway, I hope it'll catch up soon. Yeah, a little bit of a pitch right now, man. There, okay, looks like it's doing something. There we go. All right, so I feel like this ending that na, 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 na. That's actually part of my other. Oh, you know what? I don't need that there anymore. Oops. These are arpeggios again, so you know it's just not some random shit, but it's sort of some random shit. So it's but I can't play it there. I have to play it. So. Right? And that will keep the melody or the rhythm going, which is important here. And then I'll throw in just throw in a power chord at the end there, so you can kind of hear how that would work. So, yeah, my virtual piano is taking a big crap. So anyway, here's the whole thing so far. All right, you know what? Let me switch to a different piano. Let me turn that off all there. What is this thing doing? Weird. Let me try one more thing here. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing this crap. I'm going to try freezing the instrument, which should take like none of the resources. Alright, one last thing. Yeah, this whole hour almost went off without a hitch. We are almost out of time here for tonight, but I hope that this kind of gave you a little bit of an insight in how this is working, but what I'm basically doing is I'm just coming up with sequences and melodies that fulfill the rhythmic criteria first. It needs to be about the actual rhythm, because if it's not going to work. See what happens if I switch over to a different driver so it can play back. Okay, let's try this. This reverb is just insane. All right, let's try it one more time here. Yeah, okay, so not too bad for an hour's work while describing it as I go. If I didn't stop to explain what I'm doing, I probably could have done more, but I feel like that's actually something that could be pretty kick-ass. And yeah, so unfortunately I'm out of time right now, but yeah, so I've got a couple of basic themes in here that just that by itself could really kind of work very well, I think. And all just kind of starting with what I originally had here with the So, and then we had our and so that's yeah, I think that was sort of my melody on that one. Yeah, so I feel like that kind of works. To be honest, it's very much what I had in mind, at least. So I'm going to actually flesh this out a little bit and just at least master the guitar parts of it and throw some drums and stuff on it too. And if you're interested in that, go and download that link in the download the PDF in that link. I'm going to send it to you. I'll specifically send an email with the MP3 of that to you. So go ahead and download the blank diagram pack, and I will see which emails actually did it, and then I can actually send it to you. So if you're interested in hearing what this sounds like, I will go ahead and put this together just so you can kind of see how that all worked out. I will include the piano version of it, and I'll include the guitar version of it, and I'll throw in the tab of what I actually did here, because I pretty much know where I'm going to play this on the guitar. So I will do a cleaned out version of the tab in Guitar Pro, and I'll do that in the next couple of days. So go ahead and download it from that link right in chat right now. And that's it for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. This is a little bit more of just a creative thing. Hopefully I didn't lose you in some of the theory side of things, but this is sort of what it really looks like when it comes to using the skills and knowledge. I am a big believer in writing equals recording. So I'll be writing it down so I don't forget what I actually did, or more importantly, where did I do it. But I like to put it into MIDI because I can hear it right away and I can hear it against other notes. And I just purposely just use piano. I mean, I might use like a synth and then use a different instrument altogether for the background or something like that. There's, you know, the sky's the limit. And there, I mean, so I could use, I love using Absinthe 3. It's a very old version of Absinthe, but Native Instruments had a kick-ass lead patch that I like to use on that. And it's apparently not going to load for me, but I was going to do a quick version of that. No, don't create a MIDI track. Just do the damn thing, man. This is Chordatron lead, and let's make sure that has multiple voices. Time feedback, low pass. Let's see real quick. If I change that real quick, let's see what this does here. Absinthe. That's crazy. All right, so yeah, there's only one voice going on here. Poly. Yeah, there we go. That's what's wrong. Let's make this at least 16. Let's make it 64 voices. Okay, and let's get rid of a little bit of that fucking, turn off that. Let's see, turn that up a little bit. Nope, that's not even the one. This one. Ah. That's what's wrong. Okay, yep. Real quick. Kind of going over here, but one should actually hear it, So let's do one knob. No, let's not do the one knob. We'll do the keys. A little louder. Right? So yeah, that's one way it could work out. I forgot how that synth has a really weird thing that it does. It's very, the portamento is insane on it, so I forgot about that. But anyway, I like to kind of see how these types of things are going to work out. Yeah, that one's got the same problem. Yeah, anyway, so I think you get the idea. There's a lot of cool stuff you can kind of do with it if you're so inclined. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. So yeah, go ahead and grab yourself a copy of that blank diagram set, or you can just email me at info@shredmentor.com if you don't feel like doing that. But I will send you the MP3 in a couple days, and along with the tab and also the MIDI original mixed out too. If you want the MIDI file, I'll send that too. If you want, I'll just include that all in a zip file. So go ahead and grab that if you're interested in seeing what it is I actually did here tonight from every angle. But the takeaway here is use MIDI when you write. It is a fantastic way to get the idea solidified and listen to how it's supposed to sound, and you're already in your recording software by the time you did that. So now you can go in there and start to replace the voices with other voices, so other guitars, bass, whatever other instruments you want it to be. You can experiment with cool synth sounds like I like to do here. It can be anything, you know. Let's see, cathedral organ. I don't know, what's that going to sound like? Yes, low memory my ass. Suck it. Let's play with some organ here now. Why not? Told you I'm in very classical mindset here right now. Let's do that one. And then we'll switch that to there. Mute that instrument. Yeah, that works great that way too. So what do you know? All right, I'm going to get off here because I'm really supposed to be done with this about 10 minutes ago. Thank you for joining me tonight for this. And if you don't have it already, get yourself a recording interface. So I just used the PreSonus audio box USB. It's like, actually, it was the $100 one. You only need 2 inputs and some MIDI. And just from there, get Reaper. If you don't have some multi-track recording software, get Reaper. It is perfectly fine. It's everything you need it to be. That way you can do MIDI, you can do multi-track recording, you can interact with your ideas, you grow as a composer. Because if you're not doing this stuff and you're just playing scales all day, you're really missing part of this. No matter how badly you want to be able to be a better player, you also need to be able to use this stuff in a musical way. Otherwise, there's a very high likelihood that what you're doing is always going to just sound like a bunch of exercises. So you've got to get outside of that realm and get into an area where you're actually supposed to create something, so that you can see. You basically need to be able to crash and burn there too. It's a whole new separate skill set. But it's not just about your playing. You need to be able to actually write with this kind of thing. Learn how these pieces work together. And this is the real side of music theory. Is, can you make a piece of music with it? Even a short clip like this. I feel like that works. If I told you Bach wrote that and you didn't know that I just did this and watched me do it, maybe I'd fool you. I don't know. It's not particularly Bach. It's not that outside of what Bach might do, but it's pretty limited. I didn't really do much outside. You know, I didn't do any key changes. I didn't modulate to the 5th key, like to the A minor instead of the D minor here, or the G sharp minor from the C sharp minor. Anyway, yeah, I didn't do any of that stuff, so it's not that advanced, but it sounds it. So anyway, yeah, you got to be using MIDI and use some blank tab, or just something where you can play it back. If you like using like Guitar Pro, that's basically MIDI already, and you can then import that into something. But I recommend doing what I did here tonight. Open a DAW, that's Digital Audio Workstation, a recording software, multi-track software. Grab some tabs so you don't forget where on the fretboard you played your ideas, and write each phrase from based on, like, all right, so once I did, you know, I was like, my ring finger is what left off, so the next phrase came from what finger's available. Then you know, and then it's like a, you know, it becomes a very playable piece. Not every single time that I play it is it in the same location, but if you just grab the most convenient moment of, you know, or location of where you're playing something and start from there, you might actually create something that's not very playable all the way through. I used to do this with my early solos, and found myself playing a very, very, very difficult solo on a strange stage in the dark in front of strangers because I didn't think it through this way. So think about which finger is available for the next phrase. Think about the last finger you used for the last note of the last phrase as you start a new phrase, and you'll thank me later. All right, so anyway, truly, I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and do everything I told you about here tonight, because otherwise it's not going to have that much of a benefit if you just like, yeah, I get it in theory. Don't get it in theory, get it in practice. All right, so until next time, rock on, my friends.